Cain is deified. The clans tell tales of him. Few know the truth. He was mortal once, as were we all. However, his contempt for humanity drove him to create me and my brethren. I am Raziel, firstborn of his lieutenants. I stood with Cain and my brethren at the dawn of the Empire. I have served him a millennium. Over time, we became less human and more divine. Cain would enter the state of change and emerge with a new gift. Some years after the Master, our evolution would follow, until I had the honor of surpassing my lord. For my transgression, I earned a new kind of reward. Agony. There was only one possible outcome. My eternal damnation. I, Raziel, was to suffer the fate of traitors and weaklings, to burn forever in the bowels of the Lake of the Dead.
Cast him in.
Tumbling, burning with white-hot fire, I plunged into the depths of the abyss. Unspeakable pain, relentless agony. Time ceased to exist. Only this torture and a deepening hatred of the hypocrisy that damned me to this hell. An eternity passed, and my torment receded, bringing me back from the precipice of madness. The descent had destroyed me, and yet I lived.
Raziel, you are worthy. I know you, Raziel. You are worthy.
What madness is this? What pitiful form is this that I have come to inhabit? Death would be a release next to this travesty.
You did not survive the abyss, Raziel. I have only spared you from total dissolution.
I would choose oblivion over this existence.
The choice is not yours.
I am destroyed.
You are reborn. The birth of one of Cain's abominations traps the essence of life. It is this soul that animates the corpse you lived in. And that, Raziel, is the demise of Nosgoth. There is no balance. The souls of the dead remain trapped. I cannot spin them in the wheel of fate. They cannot complete their destinies. Redeem yourself. Or if you prefer, avenge yourself. Settle your dispute with Cain. Destroy him and your brethren. Free their souls and let the wheel of fate churn again. Use your hatred to reave their souls. I can make it possible. Become my Soul Reaver, my angel of death.
My God! The sanctuary of the clans reduced to ruin. Beyond these walls lay the pillars of Nosgoth, the seat of Kain's empire. How humble it now appeared, collapsing into the dust of its former magnificence. And yet, I had only just emerged. In the instant between my execution and resurrection, centuries had apparently passed.
This world is wrecked with cataclysms. The earth strains to shrug off the pestilence of Kain's parasitic empire. The fate of this world was preordained in an instant by a solitary man. Unwilling to martyr himself to restore Nosgoth's balance, Kain condemned the world to the decay you see. In that moment, the unraveling began. Now it is nearly played out. Nosgoth teeters on the brink of collapse. Its fragile balance cannot hold.
This, at least, had remained constant. The endlessly swirling vortex of the abyss. My tomb and the womb of my rebirth.
You have done well, Raziel.
Am I reduced to this? A ghoul? A fratricide?
Elevated, Raziel, not reduced. Consuming Melchiah's soul has endowed you with a new gift. Insubstantial barriers such as these are no impediment to you in the spectral realm. Will yourself to pass through, and you shall.
Raziel.
Kain!
The Abyss has been unkind.
I am your creation, Kain. Now, as before, you criticize your own work. What have you done with my clan, degenerate? You have no right.
What I have made, I can also destroy, child.
Damn you, Kain! You are not God! This act of genocide is unconscionable!
Conscience? You dare to speak to me of conscience? Only when you have felt the full gravity of choice should you dare question my judgment. Your life's span is a flicker compared to the mass of doubt and regret that I have borne since Mortanius first turned me from the light. To know that the fate of the world hangs dependent on the advisedness of my every deed? Can you even begin to conceive what action you would take in my position?
I would choose integrity, Kain.
Look around you, Raziel. See what has become of our empire. Witness the end of an age. The clans scattered to the corners of Nosgoth. This place has outlasted its usefulness. As have you.
The Soul Reaver, Kain's ancient blade, older than any of us and 1,000 times more deadly. The legends claimed that the blade was possessed and thrived by devouring the souls of its victims. For all our bravado, we knew what it meant when Kain drew the Soul Reaver in anger. It meant you were dead.
The blade is vanquished. So it unfolds. And we are a step closer to our destinies.
I swore I saw a glint of satisfaction in Cain's eye when the Soul Reaver was destroyed. I did not understand the game that Cain was playing, but I knew the finishing move.
From this moment and ever afterward, you and this blade are inextricably bound. Soul Reaver and Weaver of Souls, your destinies are intertwined. By destroying the sword, you have liberated it from its corporeal prison and restored it to its true form, a wraith blade, its energy unbound. No longer a physical blade, it can only manifest itself in the material realm when your strength is fully restored. Once manifest, it will sustain you.
The battle between the Cyclops and the Titans was fierce and lasted for centuries. The third generation, led by Kronos, sought to overthrow the Cyclops and claim dominion over the realms of creation. Both sides possessed immense power and abilities, fueled by their angelic heritage and the corruption that had taken hold within them. During the war, the realms of creation were torn apart by their destructive force. Mountains crumbled, oceans raged, and the very fabric of reality was stretched to its limits. The clash of the Titans shook the heavens and threatened to bring an end to all existence. But in the midst of this chaos, a prophecy emerged. It spoke of a chosen one, a savior who would rise from the ashes and bring balance to the realms. This chosen one was none other than Zeus, a powerful Nephilim who possessed the strength and wisdom to unite the warring factions. Zeus rallied the remaining forces of the second and third generations, urging them to put aside their differences and stand together against the true enemy, the corruption that had consumed their kind. With his lightning bolts and mighty thunder, Zeus led the charge against Kronos and the Titans. The battle was arduous, with casualties on both sides. But in the end, Zeus emerged victorious, casting Kronos into the depths of Tartarus and imprisoning the Titans. The realms of creation were once again brought under the protection of the Nephilim, with Zeus as their benevolent ruler. However, despite their victory, the Nephilim could not undo the damage that had been done. The realms were forever scarred, and the corruption that had plagued their kind still lingered.
The prodigal son. There is no returning for you, Raziel.
Zephon, your visage becomes you. It's an appropriate reflection of your soul.
And you are not his handsome Raziel anymore. His precious firstborn son turned betrayer. You have missed so many changes, little Raziel. Look around you. See how the human's weapon of destruction has become my home. Indeed, my body. A cocoon of brick and granite from which to watch a pupating world.
A crevice in which to cower, only scuttling from the shadows to devour a victim already ensnared in your cowardly trap. But you've made the mistake of leaving me unbound, and it is you who must succumb to my will.
Will, instinct, reflex action. The insect mind finds little difference. I warn you, brother. As my stature has grown, so it is matched by my appetite. Step forward, morsel.
Consuming Zephon's apostate soul has bestowed on you a new gift.
The Oracle's Cave, where Cain's first fateful meeting with Mobius occurred. Mobius played the role of a doddering soothsayer, stirring his pot of visions while dispensing enigmatic predictions to gullible visitors. Underneath the facade was Mobius the Time Streamer, sorcerer of the Circle of Nine, a ruthless manipulator with the power to bend time. Since his murder at Cain's hands centuries ago, these caves have stood vacant, though, like Mobius himself, they are rumored to be only a facade for a much larger, more elaborate complex. I sensed that Cain was here, and at that moment, I would have plumbed the depths of hell to find him. This, I deduced, must be the man himself. The Time Streamer, Mobius. He seemed not at all the impressive figure I had imagined from Cain's boasted exploits. And yet, even this cold image radiated a certain undeniable power.
In order to prevent further destruction, Zeus and the remaining Nephilim established a council to govern the realms and ensure the preservation of their fragile existence. And so, the age of the Nephilim continued, with Zeus at the helm, guiding his brethren towards a future of redemption and harmony. The Nephilim, once destroyers, had now become the guardians of creation, learning from their past mistakes and striving to use their powers for the greater good. But as with any tale of power and corruption, there were always whispers of dissent and darkness lurking in the shadows. The remnants of the fallen angels, the rebellious faction that had birthed the Nephilim, still sought to regain their lost power and overthrow their council. And so, the age of the Nephilim entered a new chapter, one filled with both hope and trepidation. The fate of the realms hung in the balance, and it was up to Zeus and his allies to ensure that the legacy of the Nephilim would not be tainted by the sins of their past. It is clear that Aphrodite, in her quest for power and revenge, played a significant role in the downfall of the Olympian gods. She manipulated events, seduced Ares, and orchestrated the murder of Delphi to protect her true identity. With the help of Hades, she spread fear and darkness throughout the world, using the weaknesses of the Dark Ages to her advantage. During this time, Aphrodite also targeted the Celtic Welsh countryside, unleashing demonic creatures and instilling fear in the hearts of children. She twisted the teachings of Jesus to further her campaign against pagan worship, which ultimately led to the persecution of pagans. Aphrodite's ultimate goal was to destroy the power of the gods, fueled by their worship. However, Zeus and his loyal followers, Apollo, Hermes, and Poseidon, pursued Aphrodite across Europe, determined to put an end to her reign of terror. They changed their personas to become guardians of the rising Catholic Church, fighting against the evil forces of Aphrodite and her minions. They drew power from prayer and hymns, using this energy to maintain their presence in the mortal world. The conflict between Aphrodite and Zeus continued for centuries, with notable battles taking place in the 14th century during the French Revolution and in 1856 in Wiltshire, Britain. The last remaining member of a druidic order, believed to be Zeus, fought against an evil darkness before disappearing into a whirlpool, never to be seen again. In conclusion, Aphrodite's actions and manipulations had a significant impact on the fate of the Olympian gods. She sought power, revenge, and the destruction of pagan worship, leading to the rise of the Catholic faith and their transformation of the gods into guardians fighting against the forces of evil. The ultimate fate of Aphrodite and the gods remains unknown, but their stories continue to be told in tales and legends.
Is this phantasm a conjuration of my mind, or an echo of future events?
At last. I must say I'm disappointed in your progress. I imagined you'd be here sooner. Tell me, did it trouble you to murder your brothers?
Did it trouble you when you ordered me into the abyss?
No. I had faith in you. In your ability to hate. In your self-righteous indignation.
Lies. You cannot have foreseen all of this.
Eternity is relentless, Raziel. When I first stole into this chamber centuries ago, I did not fathom the true power of knowledge. To know the future, Raziel. To see its paths and streams tracing out into the infinite. As a man, I could never have contained such forbidden truths. But each of us is so much more than we once were. Gazing out across the plains of possibility, do you not feel with all your soul how we have become like gods? And as such, are we not indivisible? As long as a single one of us stands, we are legion. And that is why, when I must sacrifice my children to the void, I can do so with a clear heart.
Very poetic, Cain. But in the end, you offer no more than a convenient rationalization for your crimes.
These chambers offer insight for those patient enough to look. In your haste to find me, perhaps you have not gazed deeply enough. Our futures are predestined. Mobius foretold mine a millennium ago. We each play out the parts fate has written for us. We are compelled ineluctably down preordained paths. Free will is an illusion.
I have been to the tomb of Seraphan, Cain. Your dirty secret is exposed. How could you transform a Seraphan priest into a vampire?
How could I not? One must keep his friends close, Raziel, and his enemies even closer. Can you grasp the absurd beauty of the paradox? We are the same. Seraphan and vampire. With our holy wars, our obsession with Nosgoth's domination, who better to serve me than those whose passion transcends all notions of good and evil?
I will not applaud your clever blasphemy. The Seraphan were saviors, defending Nosgoth from the corruption that we represent. My eyes are opened, Cain. I find no nobility in the unlife you rudely forced on my unwilling corpse.
You may have uncovered your past, but you know nothing of it. You think the Seraphan were noble, altruistic? Don't be simple. Their agenda was the same as ours.
You are lost in a maze of moral relativism, Cain. These apparitions and portents. What game are you playing now?
Destiny is a game, is it not? And now, you await my latest move. Nearly had me, Raziel. But this is not where or how it ends. Fate promises more twists before this drama unfolds completely.
Be warned, Raziel. Once you cross this threshold, you are beyond my influence.
Raziel, Redeemer and Destroyer, Pawn and Messiah, welcome, time-span soul. Welcome to your destiny. Where time is but a loop, a loose stitch in the universal cloth. A streamer might seize upon a chance, a fatal slip, and plunge the fate of planets into chaos.
So the US claims to have extraterrestrial aircraft that it crashed. I noticed that this subject had really upset viewers, and something I noticed is that when searching for hidden truths, when you upset people with subjects that usually doesn't, then you're getting close to the truth. Journalists don't take this advice because journalists that do this usually get themselves killed. Now I'm looking into the disappearance of an actor, Julian Sands, from the movie The Warlock. He hasn't been seen since January of this year and was last seen hiking. Search and rescue has turned nothing up, he has simply vanished. So my question is, what happened to him? He has no known associations with Scientology, no known enemies, debts, stalkers, zealot fans. Nothing. His disappearance is a mystery, and thorough search with drone, rescue helicopters and search teams have turned up nothing. The only clue to this is that his cell phone had registered him moving 2 days after he had disappeared. So the question I am being asked is whether or not he has died, or have I encountered his lost spirit? Well, yes, I have. Some time back, around early February, I had encountered a spirit that had mentioned their search for rune stones. My viewers may remember that it put me on the path of searching for the Abraxas stones. That video and its subject were influenced by the appearance of the newly deceased spiritual presence of the late Julian Sands. For as he may have his normal living fans from that movie, he also has his fans beyond the living for his role in that movie as well. So when someone like him dies, it becomes a bit of a spiritual excitement, and that excitement gets rubbed off onto those who can speak with spirits. Just to make a note of this, I wrote this not even 24 hours before they proclaimed to have possibly found the body of Julian Sands. I found it very suspicious. No mention of any leads, clues, then all of a sudden, bam! They think they found his body. Considering the recent events, I would safely assume that anything claimed over the media networks should not be taken as a fact or true until 48 hours after. This gives enough time for any foreign influences to wear off and them to regain control over their senses.
Suddenly and inexplicably, I discovered the Reaver suspiciously laid across my path. Again, I sensed nothing of that temporal distortion, the peculiar sense of displacement I had felt when I encountered the Reaver in Williams Chapel. Cornered here with the blade, I felt at once repelled by the blade, and yet overwhelmingly compelled to seize it.
So, Raziel, here we are finally. You have no choice but to confront me now, and I am not so foolish as I've let you believe. We
have business to conclude.
You knew I would lead the Sarafan to Janos, you vile bastard. You've been orchestrating my every move. My destiny is an amusement to you.
It was fun while it lasted. I think not, Raziel. Malik, do not let this creature leave. He poses a danger to the Circle. Poor, deluded Raziel, did you somehow imagine you had the guile to change history on me? I'm the Time Streamer. I knew your every intention before you did, you imbecile.
Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses!
Lord Mobius, there is trouble within. The Circle is under
Hold
attack.
fast, Malik. This one is the real danger to us.
What are you trying to concoct here, Mobius?
Simply allow you to run loose, corrupting everything you encounter.
I admit that I've underestimated you to this point, Mobius. It's a mistake I won't repeat.
Wrong again, Raziel. Now, Malik, bolt the door.
Using his staff to disable my Wraithblade, Mobius effectively disarmed me, leaving me with only one choice of weapon. And yet I confess, it was not the lack of options, but blind rage that made me take up the Reaver. In my fury, it felt as though my hand had acted of its own will. And now, that same hand clutched the hilt with unyielding strength, and I felt a constrained tingling, a remote but palpable sense of longing, as the disabled Wraithblade tried vainly to embrace its physical twin.
Next on my list of to-dos. Hey, I got a joke for ya. What do you call a hooker in rehab? A scratch and skank sticker. Okay, I got another one. An astrophysicist, an artificial intelligence computer and God are sitting at a bar trying to think of a good excuse to begin drinking when a hooker walks in the door and walks towards them. The physicist starts trying to scrawl his number onto a napkin. The artificial intelligence computer prints out a Google Map location to the nearest sex workers anonymous group meeting. God grabs the beer bottle off the bar, slings the hooker over his shoulder and looks at them as he says, "What, haven't you all read the Bible? I'm turning water to wine and don't even have me start on about the Immaculate Conception." Then walks out the door. Hey kid, if you've got a Zagnut bar, I'll share a story with you. If not, then forget about it.
Hurragoon, feed the rats. Hurragoon, skin the cats. Heckle, Lucifer. Heckle, crucifer. Meditate, body weight, humiliate. Castrate, contemplate. Haze, decapitate. Segregate, poison, venom, vixen, pleasure, vortex, vomit, vulture, treasures, hexafire, hexapain, hexalosses, hell will gain, blood of children, blood of pig, dig, Solomon, dig your grave, be my slave, lot of wicked spirits rage.
Black is magic, leave my soul. Black is magic, let me be.
Keep your black tongue off of me.
Black is magic, drop your chain.
May you never speak my name.
Black is magic, watch you cower.
Bite your tongue at holy power. Why when people witness magic? nobody wanna kill.
I go east, you go west, and the moon follows both of us.
Magic,
Pyramids, circle crops, 100-ton Stonehenge blocks.
it's magic,
Volcanic lava, earthquakes, weather causes aches.
magic,
Music, love, the unseen drugs, fucking lightning bugs.
it's magic,
Hypnosis, ESP, mental telepathy.
magic,
Amityville, Northern Lights, blood red moonlit nights.
magic,
Rings of Saturn, the black hole, mind over body control.
magic,
Exorcisms, Mary's crying, unknown objects flying.
it's magic.
Black is magic, lead my soul. Black is magic, let me be.
Keep your black tongue off of me.
Black is magic, drop your chain.
May you never speak my name.
Black is magic, watch you cower.
Bite your tongue and holy power. When people witness magic, only thing they'll believe is what's tragic. God throws it, nobody wanna kill.